What's up, everyone? No fancy intro today. We're kind of doing this on the fly. My name is Brent, and I'm joined by James from The Critic 27. You can find him on Instagram, and I'm also joined by Jeremiah, who is a frequent guest on the show. At this point, he's kind of part of the routine, so we all know him, we all love him. Anyways, so what prompted this sort of impromptu show was this morning it was announced that Microsoft made another deal with a cloud gaming service. I think that it's based out of Ukraine. I forgot what it was called. Um, and it was another one of those 10-year deals that will bring the way that it's worded, it could either be just Call of Duty or all Activision Blizzard games when the deal um when the deal closes. If it closes, when it closes, it probably will close. Anyways, it sort of triggered me to sort of think about, I was like, okay, well, what are the ups and downs of cloud gaming, and how does it service us as consumers? And since we don't hear from James that much, James, why don't you let's hear your thoughts on it.
Sure. Well, first of all, it's great to be here again. Um,
Hmm.
Thanks for having me on.
Of
Uh,
course.
I mean, most people probably know this, but I am a very pro physical copy
Hmm.
game person. I buy all my games physical. I think the last game I bought physical was Uncharted 3 years ago when I first played it. And I never bought a game digital after that. Um, so I personally don't really use cloud gaming, but I can see the advantages of it. I mean, first of all, it can just be like a space thing for people. Physical games take up a lot of space if you play as much
Hmm.
as like we do. Um, but yeah, it can just be a lot more convenient for people. So I do see some of the advantages, although it's just not for me.
Sure. Jeremiah, what are your thoughts?
So cloud gaming is only something I've recently started jumping into. Of course, you can with older consoles like the Xbox One to try and play games that are more specialized for like the Series S and X.
Hmm.
Um, but recently I've been doing more of the remote play from Xbox, which literally is the cloud.
Hmm.
It is literally like playing that way. And to be fair, it's pretty solid. To be able to sit at my desk waiting to do work like in a couple hours, I can pull out my phone and just play Monster Hunter, play anything that's on my Xbox is pretty dope.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not the best service though. I mean, like it's not as good as if I was sitting here hardwired to my internet,
Right.
but it gets the job done. I can definitely see where it needs some improvement, and so if this is the route that Sony or that Microsoft is going to go, which it is, I mean, they're already
Hmm.
sporting. We can put Xbox on TVs that smart TVs and stuff without the console.
Hmm.
Then I at least want them to do right by it. If getting with
Sure.
Boosteroid is going to at least boost it, that's dope. I have no issue with it. I have concerns about cloud gaming, so I that's why I don't do it too often.
Right.
But yeah, that's my initial thought.
So I've been thinking about this a lot today, and I'm really
Mhm,
gonna approach it from a objective standpoint.
mhm,
I like to bash on Xbox a lot, but it's all usually out of good fun. So I will be like the first to admit that what they are doing with Game Pass is like it's working, like it's ingenious in my opinion. Like
mhm,
Game Pass is fantastic. It's a cheap and affordable. It's an affordable solution to a gamer who maybe can't go out and buy a $60 game once a month, uh, or even like $15 a month is basically that's 4 months of gaming for the price of like one. Well, I mean, I guess now it isn't a main game now costs about $70, but anyways, so it covers $15 a month, covers one game. You get my point.
mhm,
So like I get it now. I don't personally have an issue with cloud gaming. I think it's a really great option. I think it creates more options for more gamers. My issue with Microsoft simply is how they're going about to get games onto their services. I don't really like how they're doing it. But besides that, I think that although I personally am like, here's the thing, like, I live in rural Kentucky. My internet is fantastic, but it can go out sometimes when there's, like, stuff happening. Um, so which has happened to me before. Like, there was a day where I was completely out of internet for, like, all day, and if I can't game, if it, cloud if all you have is cloud gaming, you can't game. Um, and
It's
when the
true. It's
internet's
true.
out, whereas like whereas I can go into my PlayStation settings and go, oh, play offline, you know, and good to go. Now, the disadvantage to that though, which I think is silly, I think it's silly that you have to like toggle that with PlayStation while you have internet. So
Well,
I remember having to do that. Like, I actually had to get my PlayStation on my mobile hotspot, toggle it, and then disconnect from the hotspot. But now that it's been disconnected, the toggle's been turned off to be able to play. I get, when the internet's out, I can continue to play whatever game I want to play. It's fantastic. So, but I do think it's cool. I like cloud gaming. It's great for some, but you know, I do see the downsides of it. Whereas like not everyone always has a stable internet connection. So
yeah, yeah. Oh no, and then I actually will agree with you on that. I think it was a couple weeks ago we couldn't record because my internet went out. I don't know if you remember that. And so I was like, you know what, I'll go play a game. And thank
oh, that's
goodness
right.
that I purchased the games I like from Game Pass. Like I was able to play Persona 5 because when it went down, I was like, huh. And I always meant to bring that up. It's like, must really suck when your internet is out and like everything you own is on Game Pass. Because if it does not recognize, if it can't from the internet recognize, yo, bro, you own this game, like you have an active Game Pass account, it won't let you play it. And I'm like, and that's, I mean, that's fair, it's on everything, but it just leads to more concerns about cloud gaming. It's going to be that way,
Mhm.
you won't be able to access it, and even on some slim hope you can on a limited connection, it might not be able to authenticate. Does that make
Now,
sense?
now let me ask you this. So even in Steam, right? I had to do the same thing with Steam. I had to
Hmm.
toggle like while I was connected to the internet, I had to toggle a thing to be able to play Steam games offline.
Okay.
Is that the same case with Game Pass? Like, do you have to have, even if you have the game like downloaded from Game Pass, do you still have to do you still have to have an online connection to be able to play a Game Pass game even though you have it downloaded to your computer?
So, and I believe it's the same also for PlayStation Extra games. But what happens with this service is there's an authentication. Games for that are on the Game Pass take just a little bit longer, though not much in the newer generation, but just a little bit longer to boot up because it also goes through an authentication process, where it's like,
Okay.
yo, you own this, or yo, you have the right to play this, even if it's
Mhm.
downloaded on your game, since it's a Game Pass game you don't physically own. And I'm sure there's some coding in the box itself that goes, they did purchase this with money or they did not, and then it checks for Game Pass. If there's
Mhm.
no internet, it cannot verify that you have a Game Pass account. All it can, because it can't verify your account with Xbox. All it knows is you are, for instance, Fake Profit, and you are on Xbox, but it can't verify any of your subscriptions to Gold or Game Pass, so you can't play it. It's annoying. Yeah. Like, but that's
Okay.
how it is. That's how it is. And my thing is, I think that PlayStation's the same way. If you have a game that's from PlayStation Extra, I don't believe you can play the game if it's if it's something you're getting as a part of your subscription. I could
Ooh,
be wrong.
should we test that theory?
I'm jumping on my Xbox too. It's like if they have a way to toggle that, I'm doing it now, Brent, because I've never heard about it.
I want to.
But I don't think they do.
Damn. The thing is, like, I would have to turn my internet off, which would disconnect us from the. Which would disconnect. Okay, but after this pot, the next time I get a chance, I'm gonna disconnect my internet and see if I can play Legend of Dragoon.
There we go. And that is coming straight from the PlayStation Extra, correct?
Well, it technically I own it, so
Mhm.
long as I have a PlayStation Extra account. It's downloaded to my console.
Yeah, so these things are downloaded to the console, but what should happen is it has an extra authentication step that it does where it goes, you have it downloaded, but you didn't purchase it through like the store. So then it'll
Mhm.
authenticate, do you have an active subscription to the PlayStation Extra? Like for this, I'm looking for where I could toggle the offline play. I can turn off my offline play, but I have nothing that says like I can play the Game Pass online, afterwards.
Mhm.
But I almost guarantee, when I say almost guarantee, I believe it should operate the same way. If PlayStation isn't though, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's a huge win in
Oh,
my book.
I know
Oh,
I know what I can do. I know what I can do because um I can turn the internet off on the console.
yeah,
Right? Yeah, okay.
yep.
All right, this is going to be fun. James, what have
Why
you
is
been
that?
playing? What have you been playing lately?
Oh well,
Just
I'm on the second chapter of Red Dead 2, but honestly, I
Hey,
mean, I want to make this clear. I don't think it's bad or anything. I feel like I need a little bit of a break from it. Um, it's just like it's a very slow game, and for that, I'm surprised like it has as wide of a fan base as it does because like even the gameplay feels kind of just slow,
Mhm.
which isn't necessarily an issue for me. Um, I can appreciate a slow, like especially a slow opening like Red Dead 2 had.
Mhm.
I can appreciate that, but like when so much of the gameplay feels slow, I feel like I might need to take a break from it. So I think I'm gonna go to Resident Evil 4 when that comes out.
Uh-huh.
But like I said, I don't think it's bad. It's just a little taxing to play it for long stretches of time.
That I mean for me
yeah.
that intro is it's hard, like it's like the intro to um uh it, yeah, okay, hang on. Let's see what we have here.
We're doing the live test.
We're gonna go with that. Share. Okay. All right.
Oh,
Well, we're gonna try this out, right? Okay. So, um, but no, I want to keep hearing your thoughts on Red Dead, because we all know, how do I? Where's my? Because we all know
First
my
off,
stance on.
before you turn that off, where do you go to? You said you had to toggle something to
So,
say
yeah,
that you can play offline.
oh, that's a good question. How did
Mhm.
I find that? Is it under accessibility?
That would
Hang
make
on,
sense.
let me Google it. Play without internet. PS5. How do we do that? Go to settings, user. So settings, user
Uh-huh.
accounts, setting user accounts, other. Um, console sharing and offline play. So I click that, and then um, I don't. I think I'm not going to touch anything because, and then select enable or disable. So I'd have to disable
Weird.
it. Sharing and offline play. But
I
that's
don't think that we
that.
need that for the like I said, I don't think we need that. And I'm gonna actually look up now, play Xbox Series X offline,
Mhm.
Um, I don't think we need that because if I own the game, then there's no question so long as I am the main account.
How do I okay, how do I turn this off? Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay. So I'm no longer connected to the internet on my PlayStation.
Uh-huh.
Um, okay. Now let's see here. So I should still be able to play Octopath Traveler. I own this game. The disc is in. Okay. So that's loading up. We're gonna try we're gonna try a couple of things. We're gonna try the game that I have a digital disc for.
Nice.
Yeah. By the way, this is the game that I've been playing lately. I love it. Okay. So that works. Now we're gonna try Hogwarts Legacy, which is a game that I bought digitally. Okay.
You should be able to, so long as you purchased
Because
it. It has a tag in the programming.
Okay. So that is loading. Okay. Okay, we can close that game. Now we'll load up Legend of Dragoon. Legend of Dragoon. Touch.
All right.
Touch that to play. Let's see what happens. It's loading. And it's coming up. Yeah. So
okay, Sony, not gonna lie, Sony wins that, because if I go do the same thing, and I can't screen share with you, but I'm gonna just go do it. I'm gonna go offline right now, you know.
Mhm.
If I go offline, if I go offline,
we'll try one more. We'll try Oni-chan. Because these are all games.
Offline.
These are all games that I like. It's weird. Like technically, like I technically don't know how it all works, but I get sent receipts for these games, but it just shows that I paid $0 for it.
So for this right here, what pops up every time if you're offline on Xbox, then this is specifically for Game Pass games that you are getting through their little service. Sign in or renew the subscription. Sign in with the profile used to buy this game, and make sure your subscription to Xbox Live Gold, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, or EA Play is up to date. And give some code. That will always pop up if you are offline, because the games, though you own them, there's something in the coding that makes it to where if it can't recognize you're a part of it, you can't play it. So you don't get access to it. It's such a sad day.
Okay. Yeah, that is now.
That's a point for freaking Sony right there. Dang, I need to get a PS5. Like
now, I will say, of course, like the games that can only be streamed through like PlayStation Premium, PlayStation Extra. Of course, naturally, you have to have an internet connection for that. But these are all games that are just like, oh, download it to your library. And
okay. So that I was talking about the extra, the stuff
but
that you get that you pay a subscription for. Is that what?
Okay, but that stuff is still download to library.
Oh, that is. So what is the one that you would have to be online for?
Anything that says streaming.
That says streaming? Okay. Interesting. I think just everything from the Game Pass, though the games they give you for free for gold because that's tied into it, I can play those as well. Pretty much anything that gets downloaded to the system that they're saying is yours, so you can play it. But as for the Game Pass itself, I haven't found a game yet on the Game Pass that actually works offline. And it's happened multiple times out here in the boonies. So, like,
this has been an exciting development.
Wow, let me tell you.
Okay, so let's get this straight. So through PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Extra, Sony provides games that you can download, that you can put into your library. Okay. And then from your library, you download it to your console to play it. Okay. It appears that those games can be played offline without an internet connection. Okay. And then now, as for Xbox, they through Gold, they offer a few free games that you can download for free and those games are yours. Correct? Is that correct?
That you can download the game for, yes, that you can. Okay, so I actually wanted to look it up. I wanted to see
But
what the difference was,
but the
and
games that you but the oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
it's saying right here that for the PlayStation Plus and extra games, you can play them offline. However, a timer starts, and once a week, every 7 days, you must be able to get online and verify that you still have the subscription. So it's kind of like a grace period. Does that make sense? And it probably is
Oh,
a
okay.
benefit from the, like, this is what this is saying here. I can't verify. It's just first thing that pops up in PlayStation Lifestyle. PS Plus Extra and premium games can be played offline. However, you must validate your subscription once a week.
Oh, okay, so
So
it's the same.
it's similar. The only difference is for Xbox, like I went offline and I could play nothing on the Game Pass. But y'all can
Okay.
probably play things on your extra so long as within a 7-day time period, you're able
You
to get back
reconnect to
on
the
and
you
verify.
reconnect to the internet. Okay.
Yep, yep.
Which
And
one
so
can
that's
which
dope.
one so in theory, anybody with a with say that like no internet exists, period, right? No internet exists, like let's say that my house doesn't have internet. Like it's out for a week. All I would
Mhm.
need to do is connect to my mobile hotspot for literally 5 minutes
Yep.
once a week to re-verify, and then I'm good to go. So I mean, okay, it's I mean,
I
it's it.
definitely like that setup more. That is more like it is unrealistic to believe that your internet will never go out. They're going to do some
Mhm.
type of update, they're going to do some type of maintenance. Is unrealistic. I really do like what PlayStation has set up for that. That is amazing for gamers to be able to continue to play the games they're paying a subscription service for. And because I mean, arguably your internet might be out for 48 hours tops, and that's assuming
Right.
something went wrong and they got people out there working, and you can still play your games. That's dope. Xbox is a little more strict with it, but it's probably also because people kept getting away with paying $1 a month for their subscription. Like, okay, that's fair and all, but since y'all ain't paying, you ain't playing when we can't see that you're paying. So
So, James, you've been silent. Any thoughts on these things that we've discovered?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with Jeremiah. It seems like Sony takes the cake on this one. Like I said,
mhm.
I really don't use. I mean, obviously, I don't even have an Xbox, but I don't use like PlayStation Extra. I might have it because my dad plays MLB occasionally. But
You probably have at least Plus. I mean, you
yeah,
probably have at least PlayStation Plus
I think I do have Plus because my dad plays MLB on the once in a blue moon. But
online with other people.
yeah,
Okay, then you have at least Plus.
yeah. So that it's not something I really use, like I said, but like I'm seeing the advantages of Sony's side of this. Like it
Mhm.
the way they have this set up just seems like better, you know?
Mhm.
Well, the only downside, the downside to Sony is that it's all on console. You have to have a console. You have to have a console.
Right.
Now, so the upside to what Xbox is doing is that they are literally trying to branch out to anything anything that has a screen, um, and that can connect to Bluetooth to be able to use a controller. They're trying to get Game Pass on there to be able to, you know, as Phil Spencer would put it, we'd like to be able to offer as many games to as many people through Game Pass.
Yep, yep.
did did you watch that video that I sent earlier, Jeremiah?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Um. Yeah, that
That
was.
was that was they definitely rehashing an old argument that kind of got disproven, but at the same time it's like it's understandable for them to be worried. Like the whole thing is they never said they were going to put things on the different consoles. They said devices. And I remember listening like, yeah, like it's a play on words. It's business.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer
So
said he wanted to put everything on devices. And he also in the same interview that people keep referencing to the whole they weren't going to take away Bethesda games and then they didn't give them Starfield and stuff like that and all this like back and forth. Like the funny thing is in the same interview he also said as far as TV gaming goes, Xbox console will be the better option. Like he literally said those words. Like so anybody thinking that he was talking about Sony getting like any games would make no sense if he's saying, I'm trying to make Xbox better,
Mhm.
But as far as devices go, we're going to open it out, which is what they're doing with like the smart TV stuff.
Mhm.
That being said, we've already discussed that. Yeah, I mean, there are concerns with a 10-year contract with what Microsoft has already produced and what they could do to kind of nerf, if you will, Sony games, that they give
Mhm.
to them. And we're not saying that okay, they're just going to do it. We're saying that you're already playing those shady business tactics, which both sides do. It's business, I understand, but it's true. With that power, they could do that, I can
Mhm.
understand Sony not wanting to agree to anything, and in fact, where some people are calling this kind of just a slight tantrum, and it kind of does look like one, but it's rooted in we're going to give them way too much power. I definitely agree with the wariness, and
Mhm.
anyone it's business,
Yeah.
I loved it though. I was like, no, I agree with it. Like I see what Phil Spencer did. And he literally, like a businessman, said words with a double meaning, and then came
Yeah.
out and was like, by the way, no Starfield, no new Elder Scrolls, or no Redfall to PlayStation. Then of course people pointed out, well, you took it away from. It's like, you can't take away something that was never confirmed to
Just
it.
like Final Fantasy.
No, no. Well, so the funny thing is, though, so people can be like, so when Sony does it, it's fine. When Xbox does fine, it's not fine, and then vice versa. And I'm sitting here like, guys, it's business. This
Mhm.
is how they're supposed to play the game. If they don't have, if there's not some form of deception amongst the playing field, and not deception like, ooh, they thought we were going to be kind, we slapped them. No, not that. It's more the deception of they don't know what they're doing next. If there
Mhm.
wasn't that, then the bit like you'd see everything transparently and know what to do to counter it. Sony is going to find something even better to accomplish. I mean, they're going to push out Final Fantasy 16. I guarantee you all this hype and stuff's going to die down when 16 hits. But like it's business.
Mhm.
That's the business aspect of it. I'm not going to vilify them for doing business practices that Sony and Microsoft both do.
Mhm.
But I just hate it when I hear like I hate it when I hear right now Microsoft fans saying, "Hoo well, they have the right to it." No one has the right to do it. They chose to do that. They chose to be the businessman, so they do not get my sympathy if it fall through. And then for Sony, though, it's like everybody's like, "Well, this is wrong." I was like, it is morally wrong, but it's business.
Mhm.
Sony does it, Microsoft does it. If you want it to stop, you're gonna have to come together like good children and stop. Like
Mhm.
like I still think they should both just acquire ABK together. And I told you that
Mhm.
25% to both of them, and then they both come in and kick Kotick out. Do that; it'd be a huge thing for everybody. And then revive Stadia and be the middle ground. That's not Game Pass, but they could both have shares in it, and they could both have Stadia on both consoles. Let's do it, guys. Let's stop fighting. Let's stop the fighting.
So
2023, we gonna stop it.
Like,
James, do you follow gaming noobs at all, or do you just kind of like just play video games like a normal person?
I mean, I do here and there, not here and there, a little more than here and there, but obviously, like, I'm not as privy to the like multiplayer online scene as you guys are, because
Mhm.
I'm very much in the single player stuff. So that's more of what I follow news for. So
Isaac's in the chat saying no. I love the taste of Sony blood. Welcome to the comment section, Isaac. Thank you for being here. Um,
I should.
but
I think I told him we were streaming today. I should have seen if he wanted to jump in.
oh yeah, I would have loved to. Yeah, I never know with him. I'll start extending invitations. I feel bad,
No,
but
I should have brought it up to him and see if he wanted to come in. I apologize,
but
Isaac.
but
I'm a terrible person.
but James, one thing that I would advise for you to do on occasion is read a Phil Spencer interview and see what happens next.
all right,
Okay. Yeah, just occasionally read or watch a Phil Spencer interview. He is one of the smoothest motherfuckers on the planet when it comes to the words and language that he uses when speaking. I swear to God, I think he like practices answers in the mirror. Like like you could tell that like you could tell that sometimes his answers are rehearsed. Um and he just knows how to play the PR. He knows how to use words to confuse people, but at the end of the day, it could be it's just maybe not confused, but be incredibly vague. But I guess when something is vague, it can be confusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's yeah, he's an interesting guy. I used to actually have a lot of respect for him, but now I'm just kind of like, it's like, dude, it's like, come on, like, get your studios in order and make some games.
Right. Well, with that, I'm gonna go watch some Phil Spencer interviews.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I actually do have to go, but
okay. Yeah. Thanks for being here, and
yeah,
we really appreciate it.
I really appreciate being here, Jeremiah. It was good talking with you again.
Dude, it was good to talk to you again, bro.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk more about Red Dead later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Take it easy, man.
I'm out here.
So, speaking of Microsoft getting their stuff together, though, have you heard about the Season 3 Halo Infinite changes
No,
and issues coming out?
I've stopped paying attention to that.
I watched a quick little just breakdown of the Season 3 for some of the testers, like just before it's coming out, and apparently it's not unplayable, but it's playing as if we bought this for the Xbox One, but we're trying to play it on an Xbox 360.
What?
Like I was watching, yeah, dude. Like so, I was watching him.
You're
Try to
going back
play.
2 generations.
I'm being serious. Like so, I'm so used to everything running very well, that I can't compare it to Series X going down to Xbox One because I've played Xbox Series games on the Xbox One through their cloud gaming. There's some issues, but it's still smooth in gameplay, But like you need to watch. Like he's sitting there turning, and it's like it's chopping as if the online isn't working, but that's not online. Apparently, it was something wrong with the actual like gameplay itself. Uh, I saw it through Xbox Ready. I found these guys on YouTube, so I've been listening to him and his counterpart for Sony, and they were just like, "That was terrible to see." And it's like it's definitely not the direction. Yeah, I agree with you, Isaac. It's 343. We're not really surprised at this point. My thing is, it it was pretty bad to watch, and I don't like the only way to describe it is to literally go back a generation and compare it to a previous generation, or like to compare it Xbox One X on an Xbox One, like it just chugs, it
Okay.
chugs. It was it to me it was
God,
terrible. I was
it's
like, you
it's
can't do that.
it's crazy. Before Call of Duty, Halo was the pinnacle of of online multiplayer competitiveness. And now it just seems like it's this weird, outside of the campaign, it's this weird shell of its former self. Um I haven't played the campaign for Halo Infinite. I haven't yet. I haven't even played the campaign for Halo 5. I have the Master Chief collection. I probably could, but it's AIDS. What does that mean?
Oh, 343, they're just not good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've played a couple 343 Halo games. Wasn't Reach technically 343, or was that like the last bit of Bungie before it completely switched?
Hmm. I'm trying to find that clip for you. But I seriously, and maybe I'll just wait until after our stuff so I can show it to you because my thing is
Yeah.
when I saw it, I was like, there's no way. You can't, like you said, I can't believe we just went backwards. When you literally got caught saying, yo, you ain't doing things right. So what did you do? You had Miss Ross step down,
Mhm.
and then F the game more. And my thing is like, I haven't played Halo Infinite yet. Well, I played it the first day it was released and I never went back. I mean, it's nice, but I don't have friends who want to dedicate to it. But now I don't think anyone will.
Mhm.
Like I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. Drop the game and make another Halo Master Chief 2, but like that it's a new game. I don't know, man. I don't know how they could save that. I know they're gonna fix it, but my thing is that's a really bad way to start season 3 after such a controversial drop on season 2, you know?
Right. I don't
ET
know.
on Atari, that is terrible.
I think
Like,
I
that is
think I'm
terrible.
I think I'm the only one on the planet who had like no problems with Halo 4. Um
Oh, no, I
uh,
didn't have any issues with Halo 4 playing with my brother-in-law. We actually had a lot of
mhm,
fun. Like, it was actually a
mhm.
really good story, I thought,
I thought it
campaign-wise.
I
I
thought it was a
didn't
really
play
I
the
thought it was
story,
a
though.
really interesting I thought it was a really
Really.
interesting start to something.
Mhm.
I mean, I know that the final boss is problematic, but I enjoyed my experience in Halo 4. I thought the idea of Cortana gradually going insane was
Was
awesome.
was
Like
fantastic.
I thought
Exactly.
so but I just remember Halo 5 coming out, and I was just like, I have no interest in playing this. Like I think like my Halo days were just kind of over at that point, and I was just like, whatever. Um,
They
and then
made
like I
Cortana not
what
hot. What?
they made Cortana not hot any. What does that mean?
Okay, a lot of people simped for Cortana, in Halo 3 and 2,
Right.
you know, they really simped for her, and
Hmm.
so and there was a design change in 4, but, eh, I didn't mind it, and like you said, I love the storyline. Halo 5
Hmm.
came out, and there was no co-op, that I could do with my brother-in-law. I was like, "Well, then I've got no reason to keep going,"
Hmm.
you know? Like, no
Wasn't
offense
Halo
to it, but
wasn't Halo 5 split between like new characters and Master Chief?
I don't know. I never played it.
Oh, okay.
I was going to play it, and when it showed that we, couldn't do the co-op, I was like, "Well, there's no reason for me to waste my time anymore," you know?
Um, I loved. I know that Isaac's just like it's all trash. Um,
Oh, I mean,
this is th-
343, man, he's
I
got
mean,
a thing.
this is still Bungie days, but God, I loved ODST. ODST was so much fun. And then um yeah, I really like the story in ODST. Um
There we
and
go.
then
I'm gonna send it to you in Discord. I found it finally. I was like,
okay.
"Oh, it's gonna be on my mind till I toss it." And go to about the 220 mark, and it'll be just after that. It's gonna talk about the issue, and then it's gonna show him like looking at NPC and walking around it at the same time. You'll see the jumps, and then and so it prompted me to go find another clip I can't seem to find anymore, but it was pretty terrible to watch some of the gameplay,
Okay,
you know,
I'll watch it. I don't want to
later.
get in trouble.
No.
I don't want to get in trouble for streaming somebody else's video.
Oh, yeah, I don't yeah, no, just but you'll see what I'm talking about, like, you'll see, like, the jumping, and then I
Mhm.
that led me to another video because I was like, "Well, where is this video?" And it was just terrible. Like, it shouldn't be happening that way, bro, not in next gen, not on and the worst part is they're talking about Series X, like, that's not even, like, an S to X issue, it's like, "Dang, bro," like, mm, alright, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
hey,
yeah,
oh, well, okay, Isaac, hopefully you're here. I gotta ask you a question, okay? Is your Resident Evil 4 pre-order still intact? The reason why I'm asking is because earlier this week there was all Resident Evil 4 Collector Edition in-store pre-orders were canceled by GameStop. Okay. Oh, it's still in order. Fantastic. Um,
good, good.
yeah. I mean, one thing that was great is that I got a confirmation email saying that it was well, no, see, you should double check because some online orders were in fact canceled. You should
Mhm.
double check. Some online orders were in fact canceled. It sounds like anything that was pre-ordered that would technically fall. So the pre-orders occurred on the 20th of October, and anything that um okay, good. He said that he already he double checked. Okay,
Good, good,
so
good, good.
um but yeah, from what I've been seeing on Twitter and on Reddit is that anything that was pre-ordered that would technically be the 21st in Eastern time, 21st the October 21st in um fantastic. But it looked like anything ordered the next day is getting canceled. So I think we're, I got a confirmation email saying, "Oh, it's coming up. Make sure that your card is ready and your shipping address is ready. Make sure it's all prepared." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah, it is." I was actually messing. I was actually so James, the guy that was just here. I'm in this, I'm in this Instagram chat, and they're all massive. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love The Last of Us, but everybody else in this group, it, like, I guess they would be considered stands for is that the right word? Like someone who's like absolutely
Stan.
I don't, there's some words that have, like, I'm too old to keep up with some of this new lingo. So they're all like absolutely obsessed with The Last of Us. And, basically I was telling them earlier in the chat, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have space for Leon. I don't have space on my shelves for Leon. And I was joking around to get a reaction. I was like, looks like I'm going to have to retire Ellie, Ellie back.
And then just duck from your screens. They're coming through it. Like,
no, I'm just showing off the Ellie in the back. Because Ellie, they have the Ellie statuette back there. And it's like, it looks like I'm gonna have to retire Ellie. And they're like everyone in the chat was like, "Oh man, that's cold." And I'm like, "Yeah, but she doesn't stand up to the GOAT Leon." And my buddy Jalen, who's been on the show before, he's like, I get what you're saying, and I hate the fact that, like, it sounds right that Leon is the GOAT. And he is. When it comes to fighting like zombies, he's the GOAT. So I will have to figure something out, because I don't think I can get rid of any of my persona stuff. I certainly can't take down any of my manga stuff, any of my like anime manga memorabilia back there. Ellie fights Athlete's Foot. I mean, the thing that I could do is I could take the box down. Like, I've got that box back there, as you can, like, I could take the box. I could move the box elsewhere, and keep the Ellie statue up over there and just move the box. That's what I think I'll do. I think I'll move the box. But it just goes to show that I need to get more like shelf space, because one, I'm going to keep buying manga, and two, I'm going to keep buying a bunch of video game crap. I remember not 10 years ago, I was like, I'm never going to be that guy that buys video game memorabilia. And then here I am, now that I have adult money. I can just do whatever I want. It's fantastic. I love it. I even have the $100 version of Final Fantasy 16 pre-ordered. Yeah, like, just like the collector's, just like the basic, like, special edition, similar to what I got for Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I would love to see what kind of horrible $300 like special edition there will be for Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, but I vowed after this whole situation with Resident Evil 4 Remake, I don't think I'm going to pre-order anything through GameStop ever again. I think like, it's not worth the stress. I mean, I was refreshing my email for a couple of days until I got that confirmation email. So,
I can understand.
anyways,
I can understand. But my thing is this: like, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, if their $300 thing comes like a Sephiroth statue, it's happening. It's freaking happening. Like, yeah, Sephiroth is one of my favorites, bro. Like literally top tier villain. I mean, he's great. He has a motivation. There is no redemption. I look for these. I think that we should actually. We've been talking, Jacob and myself, about like what makes a good villain. Like, what actually makes a good villain. Like, a lot of people, and we've talked about it on off the field about like the differences of All For One, from other villains. So it's like but I think we collectively agree with certain things. Like, some people that may have been top tier back in the day, but like when you actually look at them, like, come on, nah,
right.
So it's like, what makes a good villain? And I would say Sephiroth definitely.
Millions Knives.
Like, oh, bro. Oh, yeah, but he's the same. There's no redemption there, you know. But I won't get into. We want to
Oh,
make that a topic,
s-
but
speaking of which, I'm gonna email you something. This is
yeah,
kind of this. I'm gonna email you my list for top for. I'll tell you my list right now, but I'm gonna email you my script, for you to peer review. So let me see here. I'm gonna send it to you right now, but I will reveal my list. Okay. One moment.
yeah.
I'm gonna send it. I want to remember documents. Mm,
You ever get
w-
emails from businesses you haven't shopped at ever, like the Gap? I thought they were closed. Like whoa, crazy.
okay. All right, this is coming to you right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically it's. Uh-oh, did I close the window? No, I didn't. Okay, good. There we go. Okay. So the list is in no particular order. And I state that in the script. But here's my list. And it includes so this is all inspired by the thing that Michael Jordan released and how I think his list is bullshit. It's all like terrifying shows that are over 100 episodes long. I think the shortest one is Hunter x Hunter at about 150 episodes. Um, so everything that I've mentioned on this list is currently less than 100 episodes and has finished at less than 100 episodes. And I've also included some movies. So I have the original Digimon Adventure 1.
Oof, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Stone,
Goated.
Howl's Moving Castle,
Goated.
Toradora.
Man, a little controversial, but good. You
It
know.
is so I actually address that in the script. And I'm thinking about adding a little like tag at the end of my option there saying like, hey, if Toradora is a bit too much for you, I suggest Kaguya-sama. Because I wanted to throw a romance in there.
Well,
Tor-
it's not going to be. It's not controversial because it's a romance. Because there's several. You know,
Mhm.
it's controversial because it was a game first, and she's not the only option to how the dating game ends.
Oh,
Similar to like
Toradora was a game first?
yes, yes.
You
Similar to
gotta
like Shuffle.
send me that game. Tell me where to find it. Because I want to play that shit. I want to see if I can end up with Minari. Um,
Yeah, it released. Looks like back.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, yeah. So here's the thing. I remember watching Toradora, and so don't get me wrong. Most romance anime are highly predictable. However, I think the problem with Toradora is that it was predictable. Like I had a problem with its predictability, like a big problem with its predictability.
Mhm.
Um, you could watch the show and just you can save yourself all the drama and the frustration of the show, because you look at the posters like, okay, well, we know how this is going to end. Whereas like something like Kaguya-sama is just funny. It's funny throughout. Like it's constant. Anyways, um, so I put Toradora there, just simply because it is highly praised by the community. It seems, and
Mhm.
it is a good, and I think it is a good pick for a romance. I do think that it's a solid pick for a romance one. But another good solid pick is Kaguya-sama. I didn't want to go with all the stuff that was new either. I wanted to go with a few older options as well. So then I put Demon Slayer in there. Demon Slayer was my beginner reintroduction into anime, and I feel like it's a good option. I think it's a good option for a lot of other people. Your Name, Trigun Stampede,
Yeah.
Death Note, I put Death Note in there. I put a disclaimer in the script that I had not finished the anime, but I read the manga, and
Mhm.
I know the story, and I know that I know I also explain that I know Death Note's place in both manga and anime history, and that it does, I basically, I state in the script that, for reasons that I can't explain here without spoiling, it's not for me. I'm not going to finish the anime because of those reasons that I can't explain, but it it is in fact a well-crafted story. It really is. I mean, it is a
Mhm.
well-crafted story.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
about a hero who's a villain and a villain who's a hero, and it's and it has and it holds a really good spot in manga and anime history, so I feel like it has to be there. I found a way to sneak My Hero Academia on the list, even though the anime is gonna be at almost 140 episodes here pretty quick, but I put My Hero Academia 2 Heroes, the first movie. I put the first movie on there, and I even jokingly in the script says like, "Hey, this is my way of getting My Hero Academia on the list without actually putting it on the list." Because honestly, the movie is solid. It says things, it's like, okay, it basically is like, okay, here's the world that we're in. Quarks, 80% of the population. Deku was Quarkless. All Might, boom, here you go, you're good to go. And then the movie goes. It's like, and actually it's like, if you like the movie, you're gonna like the series. So here's the movie. Um,
Oh, that's a good comparison because I haven't watched Two Heroes yet, but like you're not the only one who said that thing's fantastic, you know. But it is definitely like similarly, if you like, I would say if you don't like Mugen Train,
mhm,
then you're not gonna like then Demon Slayer just isn't for you as a whole, that
right,
encompassed everything about Demon Slayer that we really like: the zany
right,
comedy, the
but
really serious stuff, the
but
the hero overcoming, but also unrealistic, not unreal,
but
insurmountable odds.
the difference though between Mugen Train and Two Heroes is
Mhm.
Mugen Train is legitimately canon, whereas
Yeah.
Two Heroes is questionable canon.
Ooh, there we go. My apologies. What I mean is, if you go and watch, if you want to just sit down and watch something for a couple hours, like a movie, spend some time on it instead of watching episodes, right? And
Mhm,
if you watch that, and I have told people, if you watch Mugen Train, or you get there and you're just like, that's not for me, like I'm not like I
mhm.
wasn't pulled for it, then the series as a whole isn't going to be for you.
Well,
That's my thought.
that's where I so the thing is like Mugen y- Mugen Train is dependent on you knowing the story prior.
Fair, fair.
Whereas Two Heroes is not. Two Heroes, the first 3 minutes of the movie is just like introduction, Deku, All Might, 80% of the world, Deku's Quarkless. Here we go. Like that's like but whereas like Mugen Train, it doesn't have a recap. It doesn't have like an explanation. It's just like, boom, here are our three heroes. Here's Rengoku. Here we are on a train. So like I can understand. So the problem is like with comparing the two is like you're going to be confused going into Mugen Train if you haven't watched the first 24 episodes.
That's fair. Or at least the origin,
Right.
like he became a demon. Like you don't need to watch everything in the middle. You just need to
Hmm.
know what's up with Tanjiro, and the
Yeah.
fact that he became a demon slayer. But
Hmm.
I would still say that like Mugen Train, let's be well, my thing is more on like it's the epitome, It
Hmm.
definitely was a
It,
beautiful cinematic
it
experience,
I will
and
no. I will agree with you that I will agree with you in the
agree.
fact that is like that Mugen Train is quintessential Demon Slayer. It's like
Mhm.
if you this is Demon Slayer in a nutshell. Yes, yes. By the end of this movie, you're halfway through the story. You're halfway through the overarching story of Demon Slayer, or you're pretty close. But like if you like, but like this is what you get throughout the entire series of Demon Slayer is this movie. Like really great animation, really cool characters, um, great action, good acting on both the sub and the dub part, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, So it's like, yeah, but the problem is like the issue is like I can understand people not liking it for the sole reason of not understanding what's going on before what happened before.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair. Like if they didn't know, but I mean, I guess from my point, it's like, oh, well, then you'll just go back and watch it. But at the time, if you didn't
Mhm.
know, it'd make
Yeah.
no sense.
Yeah.
It's actually, and I have to say that because it's the reason I wouldn't say Jujutsu Kaisen Zero is up there for me because it's great. It's a prequel, but if you didn't already know some of the things about it, it doesn't explain any of it. It doesn't
Yeah.
explain cursed energy. It doesn't explain.
That's
Uh,
the
uh,
that's the reason why I really wanted to include Jujutsu Kaisen 0 on this list,
mhm,
but I will say that if you don't know things about Gojo
mhm.
and what was his name? Um, the villain, right? If you don't know even though even so who was that villain's name? I forgot, but basically the guy who wants to wipe out all humans in order to only have jujitsu sorcerers because
Geto,
only huh? Ghetto, yeah.
Geto.
If you
Hmm.
don't know if you don't know much about Ghetto and you don't know much about Gojo, you're gonna be like, okay, what's going on? Because Jujutsu Kaisen 0, I think didn't get released until it was well into the manga. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know. But the last two on this list are Attack on Titan, um and Assassination Classroom.
Oh, definitely Assassination Classroom, but and Attack
Mm,
on Titan, both
mm.
solid.
Yeah.
Like, I think your
I,
list is good about like it's got a lot of different anime
mhm,
that would reach out to a lot of different fan bases.
mhm,
Like there are people that can enjoy them all like we do, but I
mhm.
know people out here that don't like My Hero but simp for Attack on Titan.
Right.
I know people that love they love Death Note, but they wouldn't
Mhm.
agree with Dr. Stone. It's
Sure.
like I do have people that's like, yeah, it's so I really like your list so far. I like your list in general. Like
That's basically it. Like that's the list.
nice.
I didn't want to there's plenty more that I can go into, but like I just didn't want to because one, that would just be too many. The video would be too long and this, that, or the other. But I also one I really wanted to put Aria of a Starless Night on the list for SAO. Um,
Hmm.
but then I got to thinking I would have to explain in my thing saying like, hey, this is a really great way to introduce you into the world of Sword Art Online and maybe even the isekai genre. But then, and this is something that I actually really want to talk to you about eventually is, um, what like through progressive, like I know that progressive retcons a lot of stuff, but like, does it we could either talk about here on the podcast or we can end the podcast and talk about it with separately. Um, the question is like how much did like is progressive connected to the original Aincrad at all in any way, or is progressive simply a retelling with new canon um that retcons so much to the point that it can't really be connected to the original Aincrad?
So it does certainly. I would say it's actually a mix of both. It is changing some things. Okay, you
Mhm.
have to understand. Sword Art Online, and I know I've explained it before, but for anybody who
Mhm.
might be watching or catching this later, Sword Art Online was originally a contest submission to see who
Right.
could do a really good short story anime with
Right.
like just
I
like the
know that.
plot and everything
Yeah.
else. Yeah, and he did it, and then they came down with like show like cool, make it. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
make it. And so he did it, and he kept all the elements he already had in, and he didn't really have time to flesh it out. It's the reason why when you watch Alfheim Online, though a lot of people didn't like it, it at least followed a good linear storyline. You knew everything that was happening,
Mhm.
and it caught a little bit of not controversy, but it did catch some criticism for it.
Right.
Progressive is him coming back in, and it originally was going to be filling in the gaps. But
Okay.
as any good artist, an author does, kind of like what we're seeing with My Hero Academia in this season. When you see a place where you could add something in, when you see a place where you could flesh something out, or it's like, it would actually make more sense to change this. they'll
Mhm.
do it. And I'm not saying My Hero's doing that part, but like definitely add-ins and like, okay, I want this to be
Mhm.
instead, you know?
Sure.
Like for instance, one of the issues that, and I agree with the issue for the original Sword Art was what they did with Asuna's character. It's like, wow, you really built her up to be this amazing heroine, you know?
Mhm.
And at the end, the only notable thing she did was take a bullet for him. Ultimately, like she got stat, you know, she got
Yeah.
taken down, she died, and then is the progression up to the second half of the first season. And even then, she doesn't do much, and it's frustrating, right? Like she
Mhm.
is supposed to be the hero, and like she's supposed to be on par with Kirito. She's just a
Right.
little rougher around the edges at first, but when she's a
Right.
part of the Blood Knights or Blood Oath Knights or whatever, she
Mhm.
is amazing. So my thing is Progressive is trying to make sure to do right by all the characters, you know,
Mhm.
and to show a better progression. Like so I would say it is still Eingrad. There is going to be retconning, you know, because he actually
'Cause
has time to walk through it, you know.
so did you see the new one?
No, Tabby and I haven't, and I'm not gonna watch it without her, you know?
Mhm.
So, I admittedly, like,
Um,
we're kinda dragging our feet on it.
so, without spoiling anything, it's basically what I'll say is it's floor 5.
Mhm.
It's just a floor. It's just them on a floor. Um, Nothing super crazy happens, but it's super entertaining. Um, and there is a really cool kind of setup for certain things at the end of it. Um, but it just sort of leads me to think is like, okay, so how does Asuna eventually leave Kirito to go join the Knight of the Blood Oath? How does a rift occur between the two of them? Because I think what in episode 4 or 5 of Aincrad, they're butting heads, they have issues. Okay.
Mhm.
Or is like, is that going to be explained or is that going to be retconned? We better keep, I really hope that they continue to make these progressive movies because one, I'm really liking them. I actually, um, and there's some things that I want to see. Um, I guess mild. Do you mind if I give you like a mild spoiler?
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Um, there is there is laughing coffin setup in Scherzo of a Deep Night,
That's
and it
amazing.
and it's just like that's that like I would love to see more laughing coffin stuff because
So so hold on, like, are we saying, were they a prominent figure to it or just kinda showcased it?
your introduction your do you mind one more?
No, 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 I want you to, it's
Okay.
fine,
Okay.
it's okay with
So
me.
so 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 Pooh is introduced.
Ooh, okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, Pooh is introduced. Um and by the way, folks, it's spelled POH.
Yeah.
Just one O. I forgot what it stands for. Um I know that it stood for something, right? POH.
Mm. I'd have to look that up again. It's been so long, and admittedly, guys, I'm tainted by the abridged version. I've already told my wife it's hard to watch the original SAO again. After you watch the abridged version, there's
Oh,
just great
it stands for Prince of Hell.
Prince of Hell. There we go. I
Yeah.
was like, I kept wanting to break it apart. I was like, it's a freaking
But the thing is
abbreviation.
like the issue that I've always had with Poe, right, is that all of a sudden he's introduced in War of the he's reintroduced. Well, I guess technically he's like full on. I think you see him briefly in original Aincrad for like maybe like 5 seconds. Um,
Hmm.
but like he's introduced as a main villain towards the end of War of the Underworld, Alicization War of the Underworld. And it's just like, I remember watching that and going, who the hell is this guy? Like who is this guy? And
You're
like
not the only one, bro.
you, you're
You are not the only one.
I mean,
Like,
and the thing is like, okay, it's like, and then all of a sudden, and then of course, like, in, uh, what is it? Bullet of Bullets. Is that what it, BOB, Bullet of Bullets? In Gun Gale, like all of a sudden, like you're having, and all of a sudden, Laughing Coffin is like introduced as this big thing that occurred in Aincrad, but it's like, but we never got to see that in Aincrad. We never got to see Laughing Coffin except for like one episode in Aincrad. So
It did upset me that they were big. They had a bigger presence, in my opinion, in Gun Gale than Aincrad, other than being a namesake, and being mentioned that they were
mhm.
taken down.
So I hope that we keep getting the progressive movies, and that the progressive movies deal more with uh with Laughing Coffin, because honestly, like they're more interesting than Akihiko Kaiba. Like Kaiba is cool because he's sort of this omnipotent thing that is now kind of just everywhere and anywhere all at once. Um and he's this mysterious character, which I appreciate. I think he is interesting, but not as interesting as Laughing Coffin. Like Laughing
Mm.
Coffin, like in my opinion, and those of you who are just joining us, we're not talking about games anymore. We're talking about anime. Um, Laughing Coffin, is like the second biggest threat than the game itself.
And so
Um,
I would say the biggest threat other than the game itself,
yeah,
and I count Kayaba as part of the game itself since he is literally God,
he is
you know?
he's the god of the game pretty much.
But that's the thing though, that we get introduced to Laughing Coffin in
I think
in
in
the
episode
sense,
yeah, like
in
episode 4 or something.
3 or 4, whenever he's with, what's her face, the little girl
Uh,
and Pina.
oh,
Because
that's
it's
right.
not that we're
Yeah.
not introduced to Laughing Coffin, we're introduced to a
The
pull off of it
yeah.
with, yeah, but you get told about it, and Kirito knows about them, and he's seeking them, and so my thing is, I like that. I would venture to state that I think that the disconnect between Kirito and Asuna is gonna happen when, because you saw it throughout the original, and people who did watch, you saw it, that she was trying to band a lot of people together. Like, it's like there's a determination to get out.
Mhm.
And Kirito, even though he's banding with her and he's making some friendships, it's like, nah, that's too much. We need to do it this way or it's not gonna work. Just keep it us. And she's probably gonna be like, no, we need more people. And she's not gonna be able to convince him.
Mhm.
Something's gonna happen. Most likely some group is gonna fail. It's like, we almost died because we trusted this. It should just be us. But she's not gonna agree, and she's gonna be like, we need to help these people. It's like, then you can.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not gonna get killed for that, and I think that's where the first rift is gonna be, because it would
Mhm.
actually make a little more sense that this person at the beginning of Sword Art Online that was all against banding with people suddenly was okay with kinda pseudo joining a guild.
Mhm.
It's like he was predetermined to not. It'd be interesting if they led into that and the whole Sachi loss, is if they were like, okay, now he's kind of rethinking what he said because he connected with Asuna. He's like,
Mhm.
no, I need to open up more. And then of course
I don't
trauma, at
I
the end.
don't I don't I don't need I know that progressive is Asuna's point of view.
Uh-huh.
So hopefully they wouldn't do this, but I don't need to go through that nightmare again
I
with
really don't
Kiri
need to go.
with Kirito like being all like sad because he sort of betrayed this guild without giving them, because he didn't give them enough information. Um and
I
like I
still
don't
agree
like
with that. I
that
still agree with that.
agree with what?
I agree with the fact of it still kind of was his fault. Like, he made them think they were better than what they were in a life or death game, like literal death game.
Mhm.
You gotta make sure to keep their expectations on par with what they're doing because
Mhm.
they shouldn't have been there. I like My wife does not like my opinion of that. I'm not sitting here saying he's a cold blooded killer. I'm saying that is on his shoulders.
Oh yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
mistake,
Big
and
time.
I mean, it was definitely beautiful, and I told her, if you really have an issue with it, go watch the SAO Bridge. I swear to you, you'll never be able to watch it again. Like you'll
but
never be
but
able to
like
watch it again.
I remember on Christmas Eve. I remember on Christmas Eve on Crunchyroll, it was like, here are some Christmas episodes of anime for you.
Oh
It-
my god, no way. No way. I refuse to believe they did that.
and then it's like, oh, here's an episode where everyone dies. And it's just like, what?
Shows
And
weird, messed up crack Santa. And it's like, what? Like,
and I was like, I remember posting something to my Instagram story going, it's like, oh yeah, I want to cry tonight. Like, So instead, I went and watched like My Hero Academia Christmas. I watched Doctor Stone Christmas. I think there was like I think there was like maybe another episode of something that I watched Christmas. Um, but yeah, I was like, anyway, it's like why? That's like
I
that is
can't
like this
believe it.
is like that is the saddest shit like ever that you could possibly recommend to anybody who's trying to have like a holly jolly Christmas on Christmas Eve. Like, it's like, what are you thinking?
So anyways,
Yeah,
anyways, in a place where God doesn't exist and Saint
no,
Nick wants to kill you, you're still not going to get your wish. It's like,
I know, right?
cool. Oh,
Yeah.
but
Well, hey, let's go ahead and wrap this up so that way you can move on to your thing tonight.
yeah, for anybody
Uh,
watching, I'm about to stream on Dude Let's Chat, which is
yeah,
our stream platform, and I'm going to be doing Psychonauts: The Wheel of Game Pass. So come check us out
nice.
at Dude Let's Chat on YouTube.
Well, everyone, those who showed up, thanks for being here, and we'll catch you on the next one.